The differences between cultures are also demonstrated in the different understandings of strategy. The West views China's 韬光养晦. I'm sure many of you have heard about 韬光养晦 strategy as something temporary, and it is believed China is waiting for better opportunities to come. 韬光养晦 literally means hiding brightness and cherishing of security, which indicates China's willingness of keeping a low profile in international affairs. But many Western observers translate it into hiding your capacities and biding your time. As a matter of fact, I believe the 韬光养晦 strategy is permanent in the context of Chinese culture. China expresses its 韬光养晦 strategy in various discourses at different times. For example, it has been expressed as a peaceful rise and a peaceful development at times. The 韬光养晦 is the current form of reactive and defensive foreign policy that China has conducted for several thousand years. The most outstanding example of China's defensive foreign policy is China's Great Wall. I think everyone knows that, which is built for the purpose of defending aggressive invasions. Although the defensive strategy was not very successful in Chinese history, it is deeply rooted in Chinese culture. China's military development is also influenced by the defensive culture. Chinese military philosophy, 治国为武. I'm not sure how many know how Chinese calculate 武. Well, 武 means two parts, 治国为武, means the purpose of developing weapons is only for stopping using them. In the Western term, it's for the purpose of deterrence. The defensiveness is the most distinctive characteristic of Chinese military strategy. China only develops a certain kind of weapon or adopts a certain kinds of military plan when it actually knows what kind of weapons and military plans that other countries are going to use to threat China. China is rarely preemptive like the United States. The Chinese defense policy in this way is very different from the one of the Soviet Union and also Germany and Japan before World War II. All these countries have had a state will and a plan to achieve a hegemony. Reactive policy is seen everywhere in the daily practice of Chinese foreign policy. China did not have an equivalence of a Western-style foreign ministry until the last year of the Qing dynasty. For thousands of years, China did not have a Ministry of Foreign Affairs. China did not have the concept of foreign policy under the dominance of the traditional mentality of 天下, which means all under heaven. China did not have a sense of for international relations. In China's modern times, foreign policy was not the priority in the national political agenda, although the concept has been recognized. The situation remains the same until today. While China could have a very strong reaction to an external threat, China indeed does not have a proactive foreign policy. The whole system of Chinese foreign policy is running on a kind of reaction, like fire rescuers. Such a style has been criticized domestically a lot. But I think whether you like it or not, the reactive foreign policy is in new existence. Well, let me give an example. And in Henry Kissinger's new book on China, I'm sure it's a very wonderful book. I recommend you all to read that if you want to understand China and the United States. The difference between the West and the Chinese strategic culture is drawn on analogy between the difference between Go and chess. Western strategic culture is like the game of chess, which tend to be a zero-sum game and result in absolute gain or loss. Rivalry between the states is a life and death struggle. However, China Weiqi is a non-zero-sum game, and the relative gain are possible. Apparently, foreign policy is very important in the national politics in Western countries. No matter is the in the presidential system or the cabinet system. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is always one of the most prominent and influential positions in comparison. The Chinese Weiqi philosophy emphasizes relative games. Chinese-style foreign policy is more like doing business. You may make more money today, but I may make more money tomorrow. With such a mentality, foreign policy is never an urgent matter in China. Comparing to his counterparty in the West, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China ranks extremely low in the administrative hierarchy, and his influence to the making foreign policy is rather limited. I asked the China side, which position, what rank your Ministry of Foreign Affairs is. They tell me, well, formally, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, his rank is below 60, but informally, below 100. But if you compare Hillary Clinton, and this in a system, this position is very important. And China never assigned importance to foreign affairs. Well, I would say, thank you. Well, now, of course, the issue is, I think I have to conclude. I think another characteristic of Chinese culture is very secular. It's a secure nature. So I believe, and the Chinese culture will slowly embrace the American culture, but it will take a long while. So I think as long as the American and the Chinese now face the difficult task on how to tackle the challenge to their foreign policy by deepening their cultural exchanges. I would say, a few years ago, China Premier Wen Jiabao mentioned, I fully agree with him. He said, well, trade and investment is important, but the cultural exchange is even more important. That's very important. So I fully agree with him. So personally, I strongly believe that the secular nature of the Chinese culture will make China capable to embrace the American culture, but it's going to be a long process. As long as the two countries continue to manage small conflict during this process, I don't see a war is likely. Thank you.